All right. Transitioning sides now. So lately, the past 10 years, there's been a lot of player movement. And we not even just a lot of player movement, that's common, but a lot of franchise player movement. We talk about superstar franchise players like LeBron, Kevin Durant, James Harden, those type players who have been moving teams from teams. And so I wanted to ask you guys, is the constant player movement, especially when you are a franchise player, a problem for the NBA, especially when it comes to small market teams? And how far should a team go to accommodate a player's wishes to either be traded or to demand players to come to their roster or things of that nature? So what needs to happen to kind of like cool that down if you guys see that, if you see that as being a problem?
Oh, what do you think, Kane?
I guess it depends on if you see it as a problem. You know what I mean? Because the drama player movement helps get people more interested in, oh, he's coming to our city, he's going to that city. You know, as far as the teams accommodating these wishes, because I can't read the minds of the players, but I can almost immediately read the minds of the team owners. It's like it's just bad for morale. You know, I think we talked about this before with the Ben Simmons situation as it was. It's like Kyle, you got, me and Worlds are both like, you would say we're star players on this team. But if one of us was bad for morale and consistently bad for morale and bringing down the entire Reign team, then, you'd have to move us to another organization too.
I'll just call you an Uber.
They'd be like, I want 2 draft picks for Kane, please. We'll negotiate a deal. I want 2 second-round draft picks. There we go.
Give me 2 interns.
Why do you think this happens so much?
Less than 3 interns. And
why do you think that this happens though so much? Like a lot of all-star franchise player movement. Like why does that? And if you, like you said, if you do see it as a problem or not, then why do you think it's like, okay, you bounce from team to teams? Because we've never seen guys like, MJ. He obviously don't count with Twitters, but he's known as a Chicago Bull long lifer. Kobe played for the Lakers for 20 years. Dirk Nowitzki did the same thing. Kevin Garnett, he's known more for his days in Minnesota than Boston, even though he won a championship in Boston. But when you think of Kevin Garnett, you think of, Minnesota Timberwolves. So why do you think now, like, why does this happen so often where a franchise player is bouncing from team to team to team?
I hate to admit it, but Kyle, you can go ahead. But I had
a
real quick answer. Honestly, I hate to admit it, but like I think what started this was the Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen move to Boston. You know what I mean? Boston went from second worst in the league to winning the championship the following year. And that model, worked for them. Now, it was a different dynamic. I think Ray Allen and Kevin Garnett both really deserved that ring at that point in their careers and to make that move. Because like you said, Kevin Garnett was with Minnesota his entire career up until that point. Ray, I think, was a Seattle Supersonic, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And the Bucks before that.
Yeah. So it's like, in their cases, it was late in their careers. And it was like, all right, this is the one thing we have left to do is we're going to get this ring and we can band together with Paul in Boston and win that ring. But other franchise players, because they were still stars, even though they were at the end of their careers, they was, Ray Allen and Kevin Garnett was still legitimate superstars. So other superstars saw that and said, well, why should I wait till the end of my career? I'm going to do it now, and because the next move I heard about after that was your boy LeBron going to Miami. I knew Kyle knew I was going to mention it, because it's the truth. Like we saw the big 3 in Boston, we saw the big 3 in Miami.
He not only watched that and learned from it, he perfected it. But
he made a whole 40-minute special.
Well, no, I mean he perfected the idea of building his, the teams the way he wants and doing it where he wants.
Yeah.
I feel like it is, on one hand, it is intriguing to have the player movement. Oh, this is exciting. They're going to get, they just got that much better. And what did this team get for them? This player and whatnot in this trade. But I'm of 2 mindsets with this. There's the interest, the fan interest and whatnot. But then there's also the fact that it's kind of like, I don't want to say that teams are catering or ownership are catering to the players, because sometimes they just refuse to do it, or at least do it as quickly as they ultimately they still hold the cards in their hands. Players can't just run wherever they want to go all the time, but there's checks and balances too. You know what I mean? Because when you're talking about a salary cap, then some team that you may want to go to, or if you're a superstar player that has a preferred destination list, they that doesn't mean that they can honor your request to any one of those teams just because that's where you want to go. Because if they can't afford you, or they have to gut their roster to make it possible for you to be there, then that's going to be a problem. And then there's also, a lot of the times, there's other teams that have to be involved, a third or fourth team in some cases. So the checks and balances keep things in, orderly, keep things from going overboard, but it's the constant pushback. Like, there's probably more player movement in the NBA than any other professional team sport. You don't hear about this happening in baseball, football, soccer.
A little more in football now, but
themselves.
not as much.
Yeah, but you just
not
don't...
building super teams like this, though. No, you're right.
Right. So I just, I think it just kind of speaks more to the player and what their expectations are than anything. Because if you're somebody who feels like, oh, I can never win with, no matter who my teammates are, I can't win here, I can't get what I want. You don't look at yourself in the mirror. You're looking at everybody else and all the other circumstances. Like, what, the grass might be greener for me over there.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a bad look on the player himself.
Well, Wells, I'm going to put you on the back foot for a second, man, just to switch it up a little bit. Do you see it as a problem?
No, I do not. I do not at all. As you mentioned, Kane, it makes for, a great storyline for the league itself, because sports, outside of watching the product and watching the players perform at the highest level, it's all about stories, narrative. That's what keeps fans involved. It's almost like another reality soap opera. It's like, okay, where's this guy going to go next? What's going to happen with this trade scenario? You know what I'm saying? And it is a bad thing, the worst thing in the NBA, where you have an unhappy superstar franchise player. Mm-hmm. We have plenty of examples to go by. LeBron James in Cleveland, his first time around, he was unhappy. He didn't feel like he had the necessary parts to win a championship. He dips and goes to Miami. He was unhappy in Miami. Didn't feel like he had the necessary parts to win a championship. He dips and goes back to Cleveland. Same thing. Now he left Cleveland to go to LA. We saw what happened with the James Harden situation in Houston. He was unhappy in Houston. He forced his way out of there. And he had 2-3 years left on his deal, and did the same thing to Brooklyn. Forced his way out of there again to go to Philly.
And he had a miracle healing on his hamstring. I mean, that Brooklyn air or that Brooklyn water, that was amazing. How just a change of scenery can heal the body. Like,
listen,
man,
listen, yo, T-Mac said it best. He said, listen, if you have a hurt hamstring, you're not doing step backs on a hurt hammy. He was faking it. I was like, whoa, you're right about that.
Maybe if you make it, if you strain your hammy, you just go to Brooklyn. Obviously, I mean, go to Philly. Excuse me.
I've had bad cramps in my calf.
Where can I go?
I couldn't even walk with a bad cramp, man.
So you don't see it as a problem, though?
No. I don't see it as a problem, because at the end of the day, the NBA is a player-driven league. The fans don't come into the packed arenas and stadiums to go watch owners debate about contracts, or to watch referees, call fouls. They go in to see the players perform at the highest level and put on a show for these fans. And it's like, that makes part of the storyline. Oh, well, while we have a franchise player that's unhappy, and then he goes out and lists his preferred destination teams he wants to go to, as a fan of that team's like, whoa, we could get Kevin Durant, we could get LeBron, we could get Giannis, we could get Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, etc. So that keeps you interested. And in terms of now, LeBron, obviously, I feel like he opened the floodgates, because with the whole decision, and you saw Kevin Durant moved teams a couple of times. James Harden, blah, blah, blah. I think the only superstar player who hasn't moved teams off the top of my head is Steph, Dame, and Giannis. But kind of goes back to my point. If the team is allowed to move any player on their roster, if it sees best fit for them or the organization, and they don't get no backlash. But when a player wants to move on from an organization, they get hell from the media, from the fans. Oh, you're selfish, you're idiotic, you're this and that. Teams trade players all the time. There's a reason why there's a trade deadline. There's plenty of players getting, shipped left and right. How do you think a player feels when they give their heart and soul to a franchise? And the franchise all out the blue telling me, hey, listen, thank you for your service, but we're trading you off to Sacramento. I don't want to go to Sacramento, unspire your contract. Bye. Get your bags. We're shipping you out of here. Like, they got to move their whole family.
That's like the Lamar Odom situation in LA. You know what I mean? But like, honestly, like, I agree with you. Like, I don't see a problem. It does get a little overhyped sometimes. Like the LeBron and Miami thing was a little ridiculous because I knew they were setting themselves up. I'm like, they're having stadiums packed just so they could walk out on stage and say, we're going to win not one, not two, not three. And I'm like, whoa, stop. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're setting yourself up here. Like, but the general feeling, look, it's a money-driven league. Like, I know everybody wants to say it's driven by the fans, but what that represents is money. If these owners could have holographic projections like Tupac of these players running around playing ball and not have to pay no salaries they play, you know what I mean? It's money-driven. So if a player being on in Jersey, Brooklyn is gonna cost that team money because of morale, et cetera, yeah, they're gonna give in to his wishes. You know what I mean? That's what happened with Ben Simmons in Philly. Eventually, you know what I mean? That's like, it just wasn't exciting anymore. Like only the hardcore Sixers fans were even interested in it anymore. I think we all lost interest in that, early. It's like, so at the end of the day, it's money driven. So if these guys want to move and maximize, and on the player side too, if they want to move and maximize the short amount of time they have in the league, you know what I mean? Because championships come along with more money, more endorsements. You know what I mean? I can't blame them for that.
Oh, I wanted to speak on one thing real quick about a point that you made, Worlds, about it's being the NBA being a player-driven league. I do agree that players make, players are, the face, because, you're not wearing, like in the NFL, you're not wearing a helmet covering your face all the time, things like that. Whatever. There's little psychological things regarding that. But when you're talking about players, I think the point that we kind of glossed over earlier was the fact that it happens in the NBA more than any other professional team sport, and why that is. I don't know why NBA players get unhappy, become so unhappy that they want to leave. And again, we're talking about the ones who actually voice their desire to leave. I'm not talking about the ones who are kind of like playing on one leg and the player, the ownership decides, well, you know what, maybe it's time to move on, or the GM rather, something like a situation like that. I'm talking about players who are like, I'm not reporting to training camp. I'm not playing for this team. I have a bad hammy and I can't, whatever the case may be. Why doesn't that happen?
That goes to violation of contract, man. I mean, they shouldn't be getting away with that anyway.
Well, yeah, they shouldn't. But,
Yeah, I mean, well, hey, they negotiated the CBA that way. Look at Ben Simmons. He's trying to get all the fines and money he lost when he decided not to report to Philly,
right,
and, participate and play games and use his mental, health as a reason why. So same thing with James Harden faking the hamstring injury. Like, again,
he said fake.
He just came out and said it.
He just came out and said it.
I mean, he faked it. You want to, hey,
you'll be sued now. That was World's Francois. That's not
defamation of character.
I didn't say it.
I didn't say it.
I just said it was a miracle.
He's still active. He got a lot of lawyers. I'm good. I am good. I don't need him showing up to one of my DJ gigs in Houston.
Definitely. I mean, listen.
Oh,
First
but
of
he
all,
will show up because it's a party.
Yes, he
I'll tell you that much.
will. Yeah,
he will.
especially
Yeah,
if he hears his chips. Yeah, he'll be
if
there.
if it's a strip club, he will be there. That is for sure. That is James Harden. What will happen when they got kicked by the Nets by 29? What was he doing the same night? He was out with Little Baby and
Celebrating.
Meek Mill, celebrating like it was nothing.
Because he learned to treat every loss the same as you treat your victories. Celebrate your losses.
That's right. Celebrate life.
Oh God!
Just scatter the ass out there whether you win or lose.
Oh.
Oh man!
Oh man,
And get
Kyle, to
defamation
answer
of
that one
character.
point you made, though, I think it's easier to change and integrate systems in basketball, right? Like football. You ever seen some of these football players?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's a hell of a thing to change up one of those systems, but a basketball team can change up its offensive and defensive schemes a lot easier.
Right.
I think
That's a good
I
point.
guess.
That is a good point. That is a good point. Like I said, it just makes like in the roster, as you mentioned, 53 players compared to a 15-man roster.
Yeah.
More even the bench warmer is gonna have more of a name recognition than the NFL than
Special
one of
teams.
the top. Yeah, especially I mean that's just how it is. And so, hey, listen, give credit to the NBA. That's how they made the collective bargaining agreements. Like we gotta tend to our players' needs, and if you have an unhappy franchise player on your roster who does not want to be there, he will cause hell and force his way out. We have plenty of evidence of that being apparent, and whether they have 3-5 years left in their contract, they're gonna get their wish. That's just how it is. And I personally don't have a problem with that because it's like, hey, you give your blood, sweat, and tears to the franchise, and they go around trade players left and right and be like, you got to move towns, states, families. So it's like, hey, we got give it right back to you. It's just return energy. I don't want to be there. You trade players for wanting to be there. I don't want to be there. So get me out of here. Peace.
Shout out to the players who are unhappy and don't vocalize it. They're just like it either shows up in their game or they just take the or even not. They still or they're just the diligent soldiers who do what they are to do, and they whether it's padding their stats or doing the best they can to be a good teammate, and they can't stand where they are, but they still put up with it. Shout out to them.
I'm on Worlds' side here because Kyle is the man, and we have to unite against the man. If it means we gotta drag you publicly to get out of our contract, that's what we'll do, damn it.
Stick it to the man, all right.
He's the corporate
fight
man,
the power.
Right?
Oh boy.
We have to maximize our talent. Yo, it'd be funny if they put in the CBA that like players, I won't mention any names, Westbrook, where like you can like they're spotting up to shoot the three, and then they could get a body double that would run in and actually take the shot.
Oh, like a pinch instead of a pinch hitter, a pinch shooter?
A pinch shooter. That'd be awesome. Or LA, like they could sub out the whole team on defense.
Well,
if one team run up one way,
oh my god!
Well, I mean,
God.
I mean, hey, they're right there in Hollywood, so that's perfect. They can employ a lot of special effects. But anyway, they should have thought about that a long time ago. At least back in September.
Oh man!
Yeah, I called that one, man. I called that one.
Yo, little side note. The fact that Westbrook is going to be on his 5th team in 5 years, as we talked about player movement, he's done, man. I think, we won't see the 2017 MVP run. It's over for him. I mean, obviously he shouldn't retire, but he's gonna be a role player now. He's done.
You're being mean. He just likes to travel.
He likes to see the country.
See the world.
It's not enough to just play the road games. You have to get the real feel by playing for the road team, by being on that roster. That's what his game is.
Holding a home there.
He's the road team 6 man.
Oh God.
no matter what. But he, I,
All right, I guess
maybe
we're all
maybe
getting
he'll just, change teams again, and he'll just have a miracle healing, to his shot. And
I want to know what would
You got
happen.
Kobe, one team, 6 rings. You got Westbrook, 6 teams, no.
No rings. I want to know what would
Ouch.
happen. I want to know what would happen if Westbrook gets traded to the New York Knicks. How would Kyle's that face right there? That face right there is what I want to see. Breaking news.
Imagine that.
Russell
Listen,
Westbrook has been traded to the Knicks. I would want to have this man's first reaction. He's gonna have a Stephen A. Smith type moment. He's gonna have a Stephen A. Smith type moment. I can imagine it right now. Look at
He's mad as hell.
Hopefully New York will be his cure. Maybe that's all I can say, because other than putting butts in the seats, I don't see any redeeming value from that.
You're gonna have to pay him $44 million.
And we'll have nobody to play with him. So.
Yeah, he'd be playing by himself with the salary cap.
Which he would like, but still.
It's true. He's like, if I could just get out there and play by myself, I'd have a chance. And I like Westbrook. The funny thing is, I actually like his playing style. I just wish that he had been able to integrate it better into a team setting. I think Westbrook will burn you on the playground, but I don't know.
Oh, well, okay. Let's play all the games in the playground then instead.
It's just,
honestly, I don't think so. If I played Westbrook, I'm like, you could shoot all day. You ain't got no jump shot.
That's true. Yeah. Just as long as you play him close, cut off the lane, you're good.
That's it.
That jumper.
Broke, crooked, burnt.
That's a broke jump.
Russell Westbrook. Hopefully he doesn't have a problem with me calling him Westbrook. I mean, just stop shooting a lot of bricks.
We'll find out.
Yeah, I guess we will.
When they call Magic Johnson Tragic Johnson, then he complained. Man, LeBron has been getting criticized for fans for years now. He probably has complained, but what did he do about it?
I was going to say, did he complain?
Yeah, he did. But he's like, well, don't call me Le GM or Le Trash or all that stuff.
But he is Le GM, though, honestly. Every team he goes on, he's running the trading office. Like he's the personnel manager. I know that. You know that.
True. It does fit him. You're right.
Yeah. But I mean, Magic Johnson, he didn't have Twitter. Like, where was he going to complain?
There was no.
He had no outlet to complain.
Oh, they were saying that to his face. That's when the media, sports media world starting to take over. Oh, he saw that, especially when print media was as big as it was back then. First page of newspaper, Tragic Johnson. He's like, well, I'm done.
I'm sure he complained all the time. It's just that nobody. That's what I'm saying. Like nobody heard him.
Yeah, it wasn't as instantaneous.
Twitter.
Yeah. Or they have live press conference reactions right at the moment because that's what happened with Westbrook. Don't call me
Which
Westbrook.
would be like Tragic Johnson. What'd you call me? And then Malice at LA, I guess. I don't know.
Malice at LA.
There were a lot better fights back in the day.
Yeah, but those were allowed. Those were in the courts.
Anyway. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Basketball should be more like hockey. Less teeth, more punches.
That's right. We pause for this.
Oh God!
This fight.
Cut that out. I live in New Hampshire. I don't need. Oh no, cut that part out. I need 95% of this state trying to cut my head off. I'm good. Cut that part out, please.
All right.
Oh, all right, guys. Another great episode, another great podcast here. Can't wait to start the other projects we got going on. Tell your story, man. Give a quick. When is that coming on? So we can tell the fans. So we got some other projects. Tell your story. Talk that smoke.
Yes, we will be starting in May, and we should start. You should start seeing that by the summer.
All right, can't wait for that.
Right.
As Talk That Smoke will begin starting up soon too, either around March or early April. The return season 2 of Talk That Smoke. We are coming in with more smoke. Yes, sir. We won't be smoking on set. We won't be smoking on video, unless if Kane does or Kyle.
Always picking on me. I'll pick on you. You need to do some A&R work, man. I gave you music years ago at this point. Worlds.
And yeah, you're right. I'll get on that. And the Exceptional Life Fitness, man, tell us a little bit what's going on with that. The other parties that Ray's got going on with.
I'll leave that to Kyle at this point. Yeah, like I'm always speaking on that.
Oh, it's Kyle's projects now. Oh, okay.
We're partners on it. At this point, we're partners praying on it. You know, like you said, it is one big family, man. But
yes,
it's everybody's own little baby, though. You gotta talk about it. But yes,
yeah, the Rain Multimedia family of projects and including Exceptional Life Fitness featuring Kane Legacy, our own, as well as the aforementioned Talk That Smoke, the upcoming Tell Your Story, and the current, which you're watching now, Hoops All In.
That's right.
More to come.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yep. Stay tuned. As always, Hoops All In is solely produced by Rain Multimedia. And obviously, thank you to Kane Legacy for providing the music for this project. You can catch Rain on their Instagram, Rain Multimedia, rainmm.com. Catch all the content on their website, as well as like and subscribe to their YouTube channel, Rain Multimedia. Same thing with WerlsTV, where this will be uploaded as well. Catch us on Spotify, listen to the audio version at Hoops All In, and subscribe to the WerlsTV YouTube channel. Subscribe to everybody's YouTube channel here. Kane Legacy, Exceptional Life Fitness, subscribe. So, man, get those views up, man. We are
follow.
Exactly.
Yeah,
We are coming in fire.
Subscribe, hit that bell.
Yes, sir.
Hit that alert button.
Do all that. We got some fire content coming for you guys. So for Werlins Francois, Kane Legacy, Kyle Anthony, this has been Hoops All In. Signing off.
Thank you.
Peace.
Peace.